What's going on, everyone? You are listening to Locked On Now NHL, local experts on the biggest stories around the ice. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and thank you so much for making us your first listen every weekday. Our local Locked On NHL hosts are here to help break down everything on Locked On Now. Let's start with Sunday's biggest game.
The biggest game.
The New York Islanders tried their best to take down the surging Minnesota Wild on Sunday, but it was not meant to be after the Islanders took a 2-1 lead in the third period. New York gave up an onslaught of goals in the third to let the game get away from them, and Locked On Islanders tries to figure out how it all fell apart.
Gil Martin of Locked On Islanders here. The Islanders fall to the Minnesota Wild 5-2. More than anything, I think the Islanders just ran out of gas. Playing back-to-back road games on back-to-back nights. They were up 2-1 after two periods, but they just didn't have their A game. And defensively, they had too many breakdowns in their own zone, too many turnovers, and too many extended minutes where Minnesota was just getting chance after chance after chance, and eventually they found the net. At the end of the day, the Islanders gave up 4 goals in the third period, although 2 of them were empty netters. It's a 2-point weekend. That's not terrible, but this team needs to get back to their fundamental defensive style to win more hockey games. For more, listen to the Locked On Islanders podcast with me, Gil Martin, wherever you get podcasts.
The Minnesota Wild have won 8 games this season, and now 7 of them have been in comeback fashion after last night. Our Locked On Wild host isn't asking silly questions like how long can this last and when will reality hit. He's just enjoying all the good times.
Hey everybody, Seth Sopal, host of Locked On Wild, your daily Minnesota Wild podcast, recapping the Wild's 5-2 win over the New York Islanders, and the comeback kids did it again. The Minnesota Wild pick up comeback win number 7 on the season in 11 games. They trail early to the Islanders, but they come back with 4 unanswered goals, including a couple of empty netters, courtesy of Jonas Brodin and Matt Dumba. The Wild also get goals from Brandon Duhaime, Ryan Hartman, and Nick Bjugstad in the win. And that's been a big theme for this team all season, is that despite the fact that Kirill Kaprizov and Kevin Fiala are each still stuck with just a couple of goals apiece, they're getting contributions from other guys in the lineup. Ryan Hartman now with 6 goals on the season, Brandon Duhaime with a couple of goals, Nick Bjugstad has a couple of goals as well. And this team made a statement this weekend with wins over the Penguins and the Islanders that they are for real and they are going to be a problem in the Western Conference. For more about the Minnesota Wild, make sure to check out Locked On Wild with new episodes coming out every Monday through Friday as part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
The Chicago Blackhawks fired Jeremy Colleton last week, and Derek King stepped in with a win. Just Chicago's second of the season, however. That means Locked On Blackhawks is all in on the new guy, right? Let's find out.
Derek King moves to 1-0 as head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. What's up, everyone? I'm Jack Bushman from Locked On Blackhawks. Tonight, Chicago Blackhawks pulled off a big 2-1 overtime victory over the Nashville Predators. Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat connect on a 2-on-1 in OT to move the Hawks to 2-9-2, but more importantly, the Derek King era, even though it may be only as the interim head coach, begins with a victory, and he told the team to play free and open tonight, to trust their instincts, and I thought the Blackhawks honestly might have played their most complete game of the season so far. Defensively, they really shut down Nashville, didn't give up too many high-danger chances, and when they did, Kevin Lankinen performed pretty well. On the offensive side of things, it was pretty slow, but Kane and DeBrincat came through when they needed them to the most. Seth Jones, by the way, picked up an assist in this one. He now leads all NHL defensemen with 11 assists on the season. Patrick Kane also picks up career point number 1,100 with the assist on DeBrincat's game-winning goal, and that boosted the Blackhawks to 2-9-2 with a big victory over the Nashville Predators tonight. For more coverage on the game, be sure to check out tomorrow's episode of Locked On Blackhawks, your team every day.
The Dallas Stars finished a road trip around Canada on Sunday in Vancouver. Dallas ended up 1-2 on the run after falling to the Canucks, and Locked On Stars tells you how it happened.
The Dallas Stars went and caught themselves a case of the Sunday scaries. What's up, guys? Dane here with Locked On Stars, coming to you after Dallas's humiliating loss at the hands of the Vancouver Canucks 6-3 in Sunday night's matchup. Dallas totally shot themselves in the foot several times throughout this game, committing what seemed like countless penalties, which gave Vancouver countless opportunities to score, and they took advantage of it. Their power play has been one of the worst in the league so far this season, but tonight it looked like one of the best in the league. And Dallas just had no answer for the man advantage that the Canucks kept pounding away with. And ultimately, it cost Dallas the game, a game that maybe, I think they should have won and that they could have won. And it even seemed like in the first period, they had a really good chance to run away with this game. But of course, the second and third period, Dallas absolutely collapsed and could never establish any momentum. And the small times that they did, they could not hold on to it for very long. So a disappointing game, disappointing end to the West Canadian road trip for the Stars, but they will be back home for their next 3 matchups. So hopefully the Stars can get back in the win column with some consistency over these next few games at home.
That's a wrap for us. Thank you so much for making Locked On Now your first listen every day. For more on the National Hockey League and your team, make your second listens Locked On NHL and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm Kim Becker, and this has been Locked On Now. Locked On your team every day.